My name is Michael Rettenhouse, and I'm a special education teacher for the last 25 years. The project that I'm doing is I'm portraying Santa Claus. My family, when I grew up, we had this philosophy, this attitude of helping perpetuate the legend and the legacy of Santa Claus. So my grandfather would do things like throw ping pong balls on the roofs to imitate reindeer landing, and there was a whole big production on Christmas Eve. And later on, just really trying to help the younger generations appreciate the myth of Santa Claus. So during COVID, I started to let my beard grow out, and it was getting grayer, longer. People started likening it to Santa Claus. So, and about that same time, like the longer it got, the more like when I would yawn and go ho ho ho, and didn't really do it intentionally to be Santa Claus, but then it became a thing, and so we decided that we were going to be that we were going to work on this, and that it took about a year to create the costume and everything. And so last year was the first year that we really put things in motion. So building the costume took about a year, and I really wanted to be intentional about what the makeup of the costume was. So I knew that I wanted this person, this Kris Kringle, to be a woodsman, not just anybody could be Santa Claus, right? It's just somebody doing good work. And I really wanted to kind of model it off of the images of Uller. So I wanted everything to be wool or leather, a red vest and green pants, because I didn't want this to be like a mall Santa uniform. I found a hat that somebody had made that it was pieces of different colored dark red sweater that were pieced together, so it's kind of layered into the conical hat. And I thought that was a really unique kind of hat. I chose to do brown leather for the gloves, the belt, and the boots because I didn't want to go with the traditional black, and it would be harder for someone in his position to get the dyes to make black. I hand embroidered Nordic runes for things like hope and charity and love into the sleeves. It's red on red, so you have to really look, and that's the point. If you're paying attention, you would notice something like that and walk off wondering like, what was that symbol, and maybe go take a look and see what it was that was on there. I grew up knowing a lot of just the very basic Santa mythology from like the Rankin Bass television specials that were out at the time.
Wonderful! Then let's be off!
I did a lot of research into St. Nicholas himself, Uller, and other different types of personifications of Santa Claus. And that's one of the things that I realized is that different cultures perceive Santa Claus in different ways. I mentioned Uller before. He really speaks to me because he would hunt game in the winter and then leave that game on doorsteps for people that couldn't take care of themselves. He's also the Norse god of winter sports, so skiing, skating, and sledding. He's depicted very much like a gnome or a Santa with a conical hat, and he looks very much like what you would expect an old world Santa to look like. St. Nicholas, his claim to fame was that he grew up in a rich family, gave all of that to go into the priesthood. He knew a family that had 3 marriageable daughters, but they had no dowry to be able to marry these daughters off. So he took it upon himself. He took his own gold coins over a period of a week, I think it was. He would put gold coins in the stockings that they had hung out to dry and ultimately donated their dowries. So last year was my first year actually starting out to do Santa Claus. So the costume was all put together. So last year we walked around our neighborhood passing out candy canes and taking pictures with the little children in the neighborhood. We did a search and rescue unit's Christmas party where we did a lot of photo ops and passed out candy canes. And then I work at a high school in a special ed department, so I came as Kris Kringle, and I passed out small gifts to those students right around Christmas time as Kris Kringle. And I had a family that, through one reason or another, couldn't get pictures through a mall Santa. They connected with me, so then we set up a little backdrop, and they did their family pictures with me last year. And most of that same stuff is still going to apply this year, because it's not about me making a profit. It's about me doing something nice for the community.